Okay, and we are recording now. So welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And if you're new, well, welcome in. So we're gonna be discussing episode 6 and episode 7 of the first season of Fruits Basket. Let's just get into it, right? So we watched this around a week ago. So it's been a bit, but we wrote some notes down. So for episode 6, it opens in school, and it's during the cultural festival. So we remember that they had the idea of making like a sushi restaurant kind of thing. And so we see that happening at the beginning. We also see that Yuki is getting a lot of attention from a lot of people, and they're getting a lot of business in this restaurant. What do we see?
Because he, for some reason, is wearing a dress.
Yeah, he's wearing a dress.
So everybody wants to take a picture with him. Like, I think who was giving like Toto like the credit, like, oh look, your idea was really good. We're making a lot of business, or we're selling a lot of rice balls. So then she's like, no, like all the credit goes to Yuki, since he's the one, like everybody wants to take a picture. And then Kyo, I think he's there, right? Like he's just enjoying the moment, because as he discusses later, he doesn't like the other one, which I always forget his name. The one who dresses up
Yuki?
Yeah, him. He has like a complex, like he doesn't like that his features, like he has like a girly face. That's what they call it, like a girly face. So obviously, like when Toru finds that out, she starts to worry that, oh my god, like I was like, maybe I had the idea that it was gonna be a good idea and I didn't know. So it probably made him upset because I'm making him do something that is really uncomfortable for him, but he's still doing it. Which I find it interesting that she sees it like, oh my god, like I'm in trouble, like he's mad at me, and she doesn't see it as in, oh, how nice of him that because I asked him to dress as a girl.
I don't think she asked him. I think like it was like a vote. I think other people in the class asked him to do it. I don't think it was her at all.
So why is she being worried that he's gonna be upset with her?
So when she's looking at him, like at the beginning, like when she's looking at him, he looks upset. Obviously, like you said, like he's not okay with being seen like that. And then he kind of like looks away from her, right? And some people, like, she interpreted it as him being upset with her for some reason, which I think I don't think they said, but I think it's just like he feels ashamed. Like he doesn't want, like, and she does say it later, like, I don't want you to see me like this. So I think it's more shame than he's actually mad. And then that's the way that she saw it.
So he's mad.
Yeah. Okay. So that happens. We have the intro, and then we see actually two people come into the classroom. They're not from the school, and we get introduced to our characters, which I am very, very excited about. That we actually got to meet them, and one of them you've been talking about in the last episode.
And I discovered that it's not a girl, because I thought it was a girl. I thought like it was a girl, and it's the character that Toru meets at her work, like in the reception, and that character calls her like by her name, and she just runs off. But we find out that it's a boy, and it's another cousin.
Another family member.
Yeah, another Soma family, part of that clan, with another cousin, which is older. I cannot pronounce his name.
Hattori?
Probably. Okay, that one.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. Yeah, so both of them come in, and
Momiji... Harry. Didn't you say that they call him Harry?
Oh yeah, only Momiji calls him Harry.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else is calling him Hattori.
To remember Harry, then.
Whichever you want to go with. Yeah. But they both come in, and everybody is very intrigued by them. We hear from Hattori that he came in because Momiji found like the flyer. And that actually Akito wanted to come, but was unable because of health reasons, or like because Hattori said no, that he used a doctor card, and then he came instead. So we see that. So we see some intrigue from Akito to meet Toru, right? visit the
Yes.
boys as well. Just something to keep in mind. We also see we discover here that Hattori is a doctor.
Yes.
Well,
because Yuki, he was supposed to go in every once in a while to go get like a checkup because he has bronchial problems.
So just like coughing, right? Some sort of like coughing thing.
Yeah, anything with I mean, I'm assuming the lungs or that area, like your respiratory system, he might have, I don't know, like a weak, like maybe he's more prone to getting sick, to getting a cold, a cough, or something like that, or respiratory infections, things like that. So that's the reason why he showed up, because he hasn't been going to his checkup.
Yeah, and then he was doing kind of a checkup right there in front of everybody.
Yeah, like how you feeling?
Yeah. Very, very just for comedic effect for sure. Luigi's being super extra. He's like on top of a sign, and he's being like this happy little,
like really child, like he's another character that acts like a little kid.
Do you think he's a little kid?
Well, he acts really childish, like even more than the other girl that appeared in the other episode.
Kagura? Yep. Okay. Yeah, and then what we see is that like Yuki was like kind of like worried that Hattori was there, and then Hattori's just reassuring him, hey, I'm actually not here to do anything.
Just for your checkup.
Yeah, just here for your checkup and like to see you guys or whatever. And then they go to the back. Toru, Momiji, and Kyo go to like the back of like the store where nobody can see them. And then Momiji is just happy. He was like, oh, you know our secret. And then she's like, yeah. And then he just goes in for the hug. Kyo stops him, but he manages to get that hug at the end.
Yeah.
And then we see his animal, the bunny, the year of the bunny.
Yeah, he's a bunny.
People are just like they hear the explosion or they see it, or they go over and they're like, what is this bunny doing here? And then Yuki is a hero here because he uses himself, I guess, to create a distraction. And it works, which is great. But that must have been really hard for him, for sure.
And then also, is it important that, or is it just a coincidence that the building where Toru was working at is owned by another Soma family member?
I think it's just a coincidence. I don't think they knew anything of her, because she was working there before she even started talking to Yuki and Shiure.
So then when he met, because supposedly the little boy, Momiji, hadn't gone to see them, right?
No, I don't think so. No.
Are we assuming they were in contact? Because how did he back then knew her name?
So I think what happened is that people knew about her because she's someone that knows the secret, right? And probably people, at least the people in the Zodiac or people that know the secret, know that someone outside of the clan knows the secret, and outside of the interstate knows the secret. So to them, that's super shocking because it's never happened, and that she's allowed to know the secret and to keep it. So I think that he just knew because of what everybody, it's gonna be like a gossip for sure. If that happens, are you kidding me? So I think he just knows because of that, and he was probably there because his dad works there, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So I think it was just a coincidence that it all happened. I don't think it was on purpose, but we're not sure. At least not with the information.
And also the friends are worried. Toru's friends.
Yes.
They get worried because when they see them, all four of them together, they kind of start noticing how close she is with them. And one of them says, they all have the same, energy field, the one that kind of senses energies.
Hana? Yeah, she does mention that. She's like, there's something concerning, or I don't remember the exact quote, but about their waves. So so they're onto her for sure. Next, we see the roof. They go up to the roof, right? So they talk a little bit. Yuki beats Kyo, just punches him. Why not? And then Hattori takes a picture of Kyo and Yuki for Akito. And then they're like, okay, that's it. That's all we came for. See you later. So him and Momiji leave after. And then we have this little scene with Toru and Yuki.
Oh yeah, when he's explaining to her that boys don't like to be called cute, so that's why he didn't want her to see him like where he looks cute. But then Toru, like on her being herself, tells him like kind of how she felt where when her mom used to call her cute, like that it made her feel happy or special.
Yeah, that to her it
So
meant that it meant I love you every time that he
yeah, like it means that they like you. So then that kind of makes him feel better.
it was a good moment for them.
Yeah, and then he gives her a compliment like that, kind of like saying that pues, you two are cute, and how cute she will look on that dress, like or better looking, and then she's not.
She's so blushing.
Yeah, like kind of she doesn't. Well, I mean, it comes from him, so and since he has that image of everybody wants him.
Do you think she felt she reacted like that because of his looks?
No, it was because sometimes I feel like she feels like she's not at their same level. Like sometimes like her confidence on herself is not that high or not that like up over here. So when she gets complimented, like she doesn't take it as like, oh yeah, they're talking about me. Like she deserves that compliment. So it might not have to do with like the looks of him, but one like it is coming from someone that maybe she admires or she has on a different like light. And then it's like, oh, how can he think that of me? But that's more on her like her confidence. That's what I think.
No, I think I agree with you on that. It didn't seem like it came from, I don't know, it just didn't seem like a romantic thing for me.
No.
Like oh, like maybe he likes me kind of thing.
No.
Or I mean, to me it doesn't seem like it, but some people might interpret it like that. All right, so after that conversation, they are going back, and then we see Hana and Uo-chan waiting for Toru, like at the end of this stair thing, and like Yuki keeps going, so it was just Toru, Hana, and Uo-chan, and then they confront her, saying like, "Hey, what's going on here?" They think that that Yuki and her are dating actually, and then she's like, "Oh no, I'm just living with them." So like it kind of comes out, right? And so she had to explain the whole thing to them, and they feel concerned about her living right there. So they're like, okay, we'll invite ourselves over, and we're gonna see if this is actually, a good fit for you. Which this is where I'm saying this is what the kind of concern I was looking for from her family.
From the family member.
Yeah. I'm like, because they actually seem concerned, and they're not like telling her what to do. They're just like, oh, we want to make sure that what you're doing is actually safe for you because you're living with some guys, So I think that the way they're doing it and the way that they proceeded to do it was great. And they were just gonna go straight away, but then they decided to go home first. That way they have like treats for them.
Yeah. Are they older than her?
They're the same age.
Oh.
They're all in the same class.
They act a little older, like in the group, like they're older than her.
Maybe I think it's just maybe because of the way that Toru acts sometimes. I don't know. After that, we actually see them going to the house, right?
Yeah, all of them are nervous over there because of like 3 females. Secret can get out.
That's true. That is something to be nervous about. So it's completely understandable. During that time,
which is still like just quick thing. So what do they tell the parents? Oh, we're gonna go spend the night to my friend's house, and the parents don't check like, oh, are the parents there? Or
I think it just depends on like the parents that you have. Maybe their parents are not that strict.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Like I was never allowed to go sleep over. Like I could invite people to my home, but my dad didn't like me to go and sleep over somewhere else.
We actually discover here in this during the scene that Shigure is an author. So he does work, Magali. Isn't that great?
He does.
Yeah.
He does have a profession.
Yeah, he does.
Everybody gets surprised.
Even
like,
Toru.
Surprise!
Toru didn't even know. She'd been living there for I don't know how long, and she still did not know.
He could have been spying. He didn't. What if, how he pulls out like the novel, like a story? But the first one that he pulls out, like all of them get like not kind of like surprised, like, oh, do you wrote that? And then he takes it away. Oh no, I got confused or something, and then he shows the other one.
So the first one I think is kind of like I'm thinking some sort of like a romance novel, like a romance. I don't know if it's like a smut romance novel, but it's like it's something that I think a little more girly. I'm thinking it's like a smut, and and that's why people were like, you know, taking
like,
back. Yeah. And then he takes out a different one, but then he says, it's like, oh, well, you know, actually I wrote that one for fun, something like that. And then they're like, you still wrote it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little bit about him. We learn a little bit more about Shigure, and then there's also another moment. But
no wonder he's really like quiet and observative. Like he just observes and
yeah, unless he's saying something crazy, because that man is something else.
Yeah.
So after that, Shigure excuses himself and he leaves, and then Toru goes to grab something, and that's when we see like Uo-chan and Hana-chan just, you know, saying that they were kind of disappointed or like sad that Toru didn't ask them for help or like didn't tell them about this, and that they just wish that they were more helpful.
They were better friends.
And I think right there is when Yuki and Kyo say something about her that
Kyo,
that shows both of them that they actually know her and that they care about her in a way.
Yeah, because Kyo tells them that Toru doesn't ask for anything. Like she's not, because they mention how they feel like she's always the one who, like, that they're not being good friends because Toru is always the one who is doing the work. Like if they don't, Kyo tells them like, oh, but Toru doesn't ask for much. They're kind of showing that whatever she gives you is out of just because she wants. It's not because she's expecting you to give her anything. So she wouldn't notice, like, or she doesn't notice because that's not what she's expecting from you.
That's true. And also something that Yuki says after is like she doesn't ask for the moon, right? Which I feel like is a really important quote for what the scene that happens after. But before we go to that scene, then Toru comes back with a deck of cards, and they're gonna play the card game that Yuki actually wanted to play. And you see like a little, like, you know, you see him get a little shy there, I would say. But also I would say he was happy about that. Like, she remembered, right? And that also shows like not only do they know her, she also knows them, and we already knew that.
She pays attention.
Okay, so next, the Shigure scene. So we see
he excuses himself. He goes meets another person,
and he tells this person that I think one of the things that he said was like, Toru was a better person than they will ever be. That person says, you know that I always ask for the moon.
Yeah, which
is the complete opposite. Of what Toru does. So it's just like, I think that's showing you a little bit of the kind of character this person may have. Do you have any guesses to who this is?
No
idea?
Because first of all, I don't know if he's a boy or it's a girl.
Okay.
Female or male? I have no idea. But could it be another family member, like another zodiac person? Could it be Akito?
Could it be?
Or someone? Could it be? Or could it be like just another cousin? Like another, because sometimes like I'm kind of feeling like they have kind of ranks on who, like how they are. So Akito's over here, like he's the main one because he's the one that they went and said like, oh look, this happened. She found out. I think he had to ask permission for her to keep her memories or whatever. Like he's the one who decides. Then he also was the one who decided that Kyo was gonna come and live now with Shigure and Yuki. So he's the one who decides, right? And then we have like the doctor, like Harry. And then Shigure is over here taking care of Yuki and Kyo kind of thing. So do they have like a certain rank on the...
But I don't know if it's much of a rank. Well, I mean, for sure, like Akito is a family head. So for sure, the rank is there in that way. I don't know about the rest of them. I just think it's because like older.
I'm seeing it on a perspective, not exactly like, oh, you are more important or you're less important, but we all have a role on our families.
Do you think Shigure's role is just to take care of the other two?
But maybe not his role is just to take care of, but like for example, if you see families where there is like that type of lineage that you have one person who is supposed to be like the leader or the head, of the family, then you have someone else who are closer to them, like who either advise them or just they're closer to them compared to the rest of you, like of the family.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who do you think is that person for Akito then? Have you met that person? Or we
I
haven't
have
yet?
no idea. Because one is like if the person that Shiguro is talking to is he another person that is closer to Akito and he went to like since Akito has been wanting to, well, we assume that he has been wanting to go see Toru. So then did he went because Shigure does tell that this person like things are going great and you thought they were gonna go wrong.
Yep.
So then it's like, is he another family member that's gonna like, go and report to Akito, or is it Akito?
Well, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that when we get to the next episode, okay? There's something I want to mention in that one. But let's get going. They go back home, and then we get the hat story. Finally, look at you. All this information that we're waiting for. We know who this
hat
is, and now we know the hat story.
Mm-hmm.
So what can we tell about the hat story?
It's like a memory that it's kind of like it's from like an event that happened to her when she was little.
Mm-hmm.
She was being like bullied by some other kids, and she encountered this boy wearing this hat, and then he kind of saves her. So then she tries to go chase him her, because at this point I don't know.
Actually, I think what happened was that she said that there's some kids bullying her, and then she got lost.
Mm-hmm.
So then this kid comes, and then that's why she's following them.
Yeah, by her following him, he kind of takes her back to where she lives, right, and then puts a hat on her.
And
so
she
then
doesn't see who it is.
Yeah. Kyo is in the other side hearing, eavesdropping. So then I was thinking, is it one of them?
I don't know.
Could it be him? Because he's intrigued about the story.
Do you think he actually heard the whole thing, or do you think he was just like looking over there? Because it didn't actually tell us whether he was actually listening or not.
He maybe, I don't know, because I don't know how thin the walls are on those homes and how clearly you can hear them. He does seem like surprised, or like he does have like a facial expression where he's either trying to completely hear, I don't know, but I don't know how thin the walls are. They always get broken, so I don't know. Isolation and stuff. But could it be them? Could it be one of them or someone else? No, yeah, like, is it one of them? Have they met already when they were little and they didn't know, or do they knew? Was it all a plan and they all along were gonna meet? Anyways, who knows? But now we know there was a boy. Was it a boy?
Yeah, we don't know.
Imagine a full twist will be it was Akito. No, I'm just kidding.
Magali, you're getting ahead of yourself here. Calm down.
That will be an interesting twist. So yeah. So now we know what the hat means and why it's important. But I think it has more than it has a bigger importance because it appears in the beginning. It always appears.
It's more important than the story that she told?
Yes. Like that character or that boy might come back again. Or if it's one of them, then he's already there. Then who would it be?
Yeah, and I think one of them, I don't know who it was, either Wo-chan or Hana-chan said, like, it would be great if, like, you guys could meet again and then you guys got married or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. You fall in love, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it would be interesting if that actually happened.
And because I think also in one other of the entrances, like, the hat appears and then you see the scene when they're walking, like when she's walking with holding one in each
hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
So we'll see.
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to point out from this before we go to the morning is that Yuki's room. We see Yuki's room. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Yuki's room is a mess. Because last time we talked about Kyo's room and how like it was pretty neat and like barely anything in it. And now we see Yuki's room and it's this whole mess. And what do you think that tells us? Do you think that tells us anything about him? It's just a coincidence.
Well, they always say that your room tells something about you. So that doesn't mean that he's messy. We already knew they were messy.
Yeah, from the first episode?
From the first episode. but I don't know exactly what, because he seems like really composed. So that doesn't make sense with his room being messy. So maybe he's
But
just
then again, like with Kyo, he's not composed at all. And look at his room.
yeah. But Kyo didn't have much stuff.
That's true. Much that we could see. I just thought it was something to look at.
So maybe it's a rat thing. The characteristic of his animal. Rats like to hoarder things.
That's true. That could be something.
But I don't know if cats are neat. Well, they are neat.
Yeah, they keep clean.
You know, they have their litter and stuff.
They're known for being pretty clean, and plus they clean themselves. So maybe it could be from that. That's true. Okay, so the next morning. it was just pretty much Kyo and Yuki fighting, and then Hana and Ucha come in. They pretty much say they're okay with Toru living there, and they just give away the bride to them, pretty much. After that, they get another call. And this time it's from Hattori, and he's saying that
Toru answers and asks her to meet him at the Soma estate.
Yep.
And the Toru gets like in shock because she remembers how Yuki told her to
never be alone with Hattori.
Yeah. Because he's the one who erased the memories of the girl or the
kids.
The kids that found out about the secret when he was little.
Yep. And then we go to the next episode.
And that's where I asked you, like, weren't they supposed to not have powers? Because they said, like, oh, well, it's nothing special. We just transform these animals. Yet, Hattori has the power to somehow erase your memories.
Yuki mentioned that it was not like a power or anything, that it's hypnosis. It's sort of a form of hypnosis. That's it. That's what they say. Okay, let's go to episode 7. So let me just say before we get into it, episode 7 breaks my soul. Like, I cry every single time I watch it. This is the episode that made me want to keep watching. That made me want to keep reading when I was reading the manga. This is the episode that made it for me. An amazing episode. So it starts with Kyo being worried because he doesn't know where Toru is. Like, where is she?
She doesn't leave like this. Yeah,
and they're like, don't you ever listen to what she's saying? She said that she was gonna go with her friends. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was cute. And then we see.
And Shiguri points out there that look how much she has become part of the family. You know, because everybody's worried, like, oh, she's supposed to be here and she's not here, and this and that.
It's cute that they worry. And we see her after she's actually at the Soma state.
Yeah, she arrives.
Yeah, she arrives.
She feels scared, and it's there's a lot of houses.
Yeah,
when they said stay, like they meant stay. Like that's huge.
It's very big for sure. And actually, Momiji is right there to welcome her. And like shows her inside. They go and meet.
They have to walk.
Yeah, they have to walk quite a bit, and they go and see Hattori at his office. So we see Hattori, and then we see we see a picture of a girl, something that
a woman on his desk.
That Toru points out, and then she was surprised, right? That he actually had a picture, because she's like, he always seems so angry, so it didn't seem like he had like someone in his life that made him happy. That's something that she noticed. We learn a little bit more about the Soma state here. So they tell us that there is like the in part. What was it called?
Yeah, the inside and the outside.
The inside and the outside. So the inside is all the people that are the zodiacs, and all the people that know about the secret of the zodiacs. And there's 50 people, right? There's all the people that don't know about that, but they're part of the clan, and there's like around 150 people.
Yeah.
So they have a really big clan here, right? Like the ones in the middle are, like we said, like inside is probably the head of the family as well, because they know about the secret. And Momiji mentions that Shigure and Yuki used to live on the inside before, and Kyo used to live on the outside. Which
is interesting, because he technically is a zodiac.
Not really.
But not really.
Okay, and well, I mean, this is something that we can also say, because Kyo says that he wants to be included in the zodiac. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he wants to be included, right?
But Okay, so he might not be part of the zodiac, but he also transforms into an animal. So that makes him know the secret.
Yep.
Wouldn't he also be in the inside?
Technically, because that makes sense, right?
Because I mean, yeah, like if you want to keep inside other people who know about your secret, because obviously the inside you have more control, it's less people, and you have to protect your secret. Like if for whatever reason you get exposed, like you're gonna get exposed to someone that probably is also a zodiac or they know, so it won't be a big deal. But to have someone that transforms on the outside, where you have all of the people that don't know about the secret and they don't even transform into whatever, like anything. Why would you have him outside? Is it because he's not like his family? Like his family, none of them? Like, is he like, like a oopsie daisy? Like, why are you transforming when he wasn't supposed to? And that's why he's in the outside, because he's already coming from a lineage that they were from the outside.
I don't know.
No idea.
I mean,
to me, that doesn't make sense that he's living in the outside.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Turns into a cat. That's but okay.
True. Yeah, according to the rules, it just does not make sense.
It does not make.
It was 100 people on the outside, 50 on the inside, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100 people that could have discovered that Kyo turns into a cat.
True. That's true. Guess it didn't worry about that. You had to be extra careful, right?
Well, I mean, they also worry about people finding out about their secret, that they go erasing memories, yet put one that has the secret, not only knows it, like he turns into an animal outside over there. Yeah. But man.
So after we actually see Hattori warning Toru, he's just like, you should not get close to us because nothing good comes of it, and we are cursed. And then he also says that Akito is using her.
Yeah.
That's another thing he mentions as well. So what do you think this is? What is this curse? Well, why does he say that they're cursed?
Well, for one, it's like it must be difficult to live with someone that has like that type of a secret. They have their rules, and then you always have to be worried about like not making like a mistake where you're gonna expose them with other people. And then, like I had mentioned before, like how do you do it when like are they only allowed to marry between each other, like as in like between the people who know the secret?
I don't know. They don't say that.
So because it's like you as an outsider that only happen to know the secret just because you found out, but you are not part of the family. Like it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Like eventually, maybe brings you more sadness than joy.
That's something we also see a little bit later.
Oh yeah,
this is
the story.
So Hattori leaves after he says this. I don't know. He got a call. And Momiji actually tells Toru about Kana, which was
the girl in the picture.
Yeah. So he tells her what happened. That they fell in love. They wanted to get married. They asked Akito, and Akito got really upset, and he kind of like pushed away Hattori, and then Hattori hit like himself with a mirror, which then some of that glass got into his eye. So Momiji mentioned that he's almost blind from one eye, and Akana blamed herself, and that's why they decided to erase her memories. Right? That was like the quick version of what we saw later.
Yeah.
So that's something that we heard. Then Toru is crying. She feels bad, and she says that she's so thankful regardless, right? Like meeting them, and Hattori hears that as well.
So see, that's an example of like why he will say like they're cursed, because here he fell in love with someone, that someone loved him back and accepted him, because like while he's telling the story, like the girl found out like he would turn into his little animal. And she accepted him and was also willing to keep the secret of the family.
Yep.
And Akito, for whatever reason. So see, that's confusing, because why with her, he right away got mad? Or why let them fall in love date or whatever, and then when they're gonna ask you to get married, then you just simply say no,
I don't think
and you get so angry.
they didn't say that they actually told anyone about it, that they were dating.
See, that's another point that is like, how can you not know? Because him as the head of the family, always supposedly like the head of the family, is always watching everybody, especially when you are in charge of keeping this big secret and this family functioning, and that nobody goes outside and shares spells the secret. You have a lot of wild cards here. Like you have Yuki that doesn't want to be part of that family, wants to leave. Who's guarantee you that he's not gonna go out and just spill the beans? Tell the secret. Then you have Kyo, which he wants to be part of the family, but feels always left out and so mad that what if he decides like as a last thing to like, I don't know, say the secret or whatever. How is it that he didn't know? Especially because they live there, right?
Yeah, in the inside.
And that's how they met. Like she went to work for him, like as an apprentice.
Yeah.
So what you mean assistant. You didn't know that there was something?
Maybe he did know. I'm just saying that maybe he didn't know, but maybe he did know, or maybe he heard about it, and for some reason he was not cool with it when it came to it.
So that day he was like nah, and right away reacted bad.
Yeah, and then something that they said like later, and also when Momiji was saying, speaking about it, is that he didn't blame Akito for what happened.
No.
And then Kana only blamed herself. So why do you think that that Hattori is not blaming Akito for what happened?
Because on my perspective, from my point of view, is like, that man has some weight, or that child, I don't even know, teenager, boy, sir, whoever he is, has like this weight on his shoulder that he needs to protect that family, like the secret, whatever. So you knew probably that falling in love with an outsider might not be allowed, or it might not work, or he might not be okay with it. So like you brought it and you let that happen.
So it is Hattori's fault.
So in a way, like Hattori is saying like, oh, it is my fault and not Akito, how Akito reacted.
Okay.
Because that's what we're saying, right? Like El Momiji is saying like this whole time Hattori never blamed Akito for what happened, like for how he reacted, and then he had to go and erase the memories of that lady or the woman that he loved.
I forgot to put a picture of her. Her name is Kana.
So yep. So it was like, well, I already knew the outcome, and especially because he's calling it like, oh, for all of them it's a curse. So I'm assuming it happened before, or maybe like they know something about it. When your family has a secret, like a dark secret or whatever, that you kind of know already, and you're the one who decides. And then like how Kana, like how she got so sad and so depressed because she was blaming herself that Hattori almost lost an eye, is that Hattori can say, well, that's still my fault because she loves me. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. During the time that Momiji and Todo were talking, then Hattori comes in, and then Shigure comes in. Shigure is just there just to see like the New Year's preparation, as they do like a thing there for New Year's. And then we see like a little bit of the relationship between Hattori and Shigure right there, right?
Yeah.
And
Momiji says that they're besties.
Pretty much. And then like one of the things that Hattori says is like, oh, like I think he was giving like back a camera to Todo, and then he's like, oh, we actually didn't get a chance to meet Akito. And then she's like, oh, it's fine. And then she's like, oh, what's your zodiac sign? Like, what's your spirit? And then he did not want to say, and he even threatened Shigure about it when he tried to say it. But just a little bit later, we actually discover what his zodiac sign is, right? Which is
a seahorse.
And that one is
the dragon something?
Yeah. Okay, you did catch it. Yeah. They said seahorse or sea dragon. Year of the dragon.
Yeah.
And we know, well, I have no idea what the year of the dragon is, but I guess it must have some characteristics of it. By the way, people love Hattori. Like the fans love Hattori.
Really?
Yeah, out there. He's cool. I like him. He's cool. But people love him. Something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we actually see transform because of Toru and her clumsiness. Like honestly, he just told her, "Girl, watch out," and then she go ahead and trip or slip or whatever she did. So then we see like his version of like what actually happened, and we see the way that he thought about it. He described himself as being like frozen, and then Kana came and it was like his spring, right? Melted the ice, and then he felt that love. He felt accepted by her, even though she did see what he transformed to, and he is now like he has a complex about that as well. And yeah, like then we see everything else that happened. Same thing with Akito and everything. Thing else that we see is like when she fell ill, he went to talk to Akito in the flashback. And Akito is saying like, of course, like, you know, like what you need to do is erase her memories. Like he's the one that talks. You have to erase her memories because now like she's in pain.
Yeah, she's suffering because she loves you.
Yeah, so that's what you have to do. But like the way that the Akito said it did not seem like a way that he cared for Kana at all. It almost seemed malicious, right? Which is interesting because we're finding all these things about Akito. Like Akito's a family head. We saw Akito do something that was very questionable when he pushed Hattori. And then he's advising these horrible things with malice intent in it. We also know that earlier on Hattori said that Akito gets sick often too. So these are all the things that we're finding out about Akito, right?
Weak immune system.
Weak immune system asks for the moon.
Yeah.
Right? And then after he actually takes away those memories, and I cried.
Yeah, that's a really sad love story. Que Romeo ni que Julieta, that one.
Yeah, that was really, really sad. After he wakes up and then he's naked on a bench, and like Toru goes to get his shoes. He's like getting dressed and whatever. And then we actually see a scene with Kana going in the background, right? And she's actually talking about she's gonna get married, right? It's been 2 years. This is what happened. She's gonna get married, and she's even saying he's not as good looking as Hattori, because you know that was my dream man. But you know, I'm still madly in love or whatever. And you see this smile from Hattori that was like truly happy for her, which I think that really does say a lot about Hattori and like the kind of person that he is.
Yes.
Yeah, and then after during the flashback,
it's not an easy thing to do, to just let go.
That's what they say. So during the flashback, we actually see a quote that Kana says, right? She asked Mr. Hattori, like, what happens when ice melts or something like that. I don't remember what the question was. And then he's like, it's water or whatever. And he's like, it's just like, no, it comes spring. Spring comes. And then he actually asked the same question to Toru, and Toru got the same answer. Spring comes.
Yep.
So there's another like way that like they're really connecting these quotes, these sayings, right? This time with something from Hattori's past instead of Toru's. And I just want to say, like, this is the first actual like backstory that we get from any of the characters. Like, we get a little bit like from what happened with Yuki, like they found him out, but we don't really get that much. We don't know anything about his parents. We don't know anything about any one of his family except the ones that we see at the house.
And Mihi over there has a dad that owns a building. That's all we know.
Yeah, so we haven't really seen that much, and I'm really glad that we get to see one of them right here with Hattori, and I'm really glad that we got to see Hattori's, because I feel like it's a good episode, and it tells you kind of a little bit more about this anime. All right, so we are jumping to the end. So Shigure sees Hattori and Toru, and then it's like, okay, let's walk home together, whatever. And then we see this car pass by behind Toru.
Yep.
See someone in there.
Like a boy.
Yeah.
He looked young, like a young character. But I don't know anymore.
And then after Toru turns back to Shigure, and then she asks, what is the curse? And he's like, it's not time for us to tell you yet. She just wants to know like a way to help. But we don't know about exactly what this curse is, because apparently from what they're saying, it's more than what it appears to be, right?
Yeah.
Because if not, it would just be them turning. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there's something else there. And that's how it ends. We go, it shows us the next episode is going to be called See You When You Get Back. And that's it. Any guesses about that? About what that could be? See you when you get back.
No. Maybe she's gonna go back to the state for the celebration. I don't know.
Who? Toro?
They're gonna go like a big family.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, they keep mentioning the New Year celebration and all those preparations. I'm assuming that all of them have to go.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe. But she's saying, see you when you get back. She's telling someone, saying, see you when you get back.
So maybe someone leaves for a little bit and then comes back? I don't know. Maybe Kyo gets up and leaves. You know how he left before?
Maybe that's what happens. We'll see. One thing I wanted to ask you just before we end is, there you go. We're gonna be in episode 8. How are you liking it?
I'm liking it. I actually find it interesting.
Yay! Okay, I'm glad. Because obviously,
not favorite characters yet.
No favorite characters yet. No one that you like more, that you were intrigued by.
No, anything? I go back and forth. No.
Back and forth between whom?
Between all of them. All of them have a little bit of things that intrigue me.
Well, you know my favorite character.
Yeah.
And then I also really like Toro. I'm just gonna say that. So, and I love Shigure. I like most of the characters actually. Like both of the friends, Uwe-chan and Hana are great. Kagura has her moments. Love Kyoko. Love Kyoko. Hattori is good. Momiji is great. Like, I think they're all great. So we are going to be watching episode 8 and 9 next time. And we'll see you then.
We're done. Next time.